Well, good evening. It's Arlo Johnson in Vernon, BC, January the 4th, 2025. I haven't seen you all year. Where have you been? Well, just kidding. We've had an exceptionally warm winter so far. It's been above freezing all the time, at least 8 or 10 degrees above freezing. I think the fruit trees are going to bud again and ruin it again. Who knows? That'll be 2 years in a row if that happens. Yeah, I guess it gets warm, the sap rises in the tree, starts to bud, and then it freezes. Kills it. Doesn't kill the tree, but it kills that year. Yeah, when I see some of these big fields that just actually on the outskirts of Vernon here, 12, 1,500 acres in one place and another place and another place. Big acreages of a lot of times cherries and then, of course, apples. Apples are much tougher. They seem to take the cold and the changes in weather and whatever way better. I had an orchard in Vernon on East Vernon Road, small orchard. And I didn't enjoy owning it, that's for sure, because it was a real pain in the butt. And it cost money to own it. Didn't make me any money. But it was a pretty good lifestyle. Yeah. The plan to carry on to do another book, I guess, is to stay in the same vein that I've done the other. I think I've got 15 on there now, 15 books, but they're like in 3 sections. E-books and paperback and hardcover. They're all one subject, one theme, and then the next one is just a different theme. But I'm going along here, and it's taking a long time. I should have advertised them more, or promoted them more, which I haven't done. And from people I talk to say that it will take a couple of months before it gets up in the chain far enough till they start, maybe somebody might buy one. Nobody's bought one yet, except me. But it can get a little, I paid $1,000 to get one audio book done on Audible. I mean, I paid one guy $400 and the other guy, $392 American, and it came up to $500. And another one, I think it was $500, I guess, or something. And in England to do the publishing and the straightening it out and dealing with sound and whatever else. And, so it's not cheap. And I'm going to have to try and see if I can figure out how to do it myself. But I really don't think I could narrate it. My voice is getting so lousy. And, but I mean, it's still, I've just done on the one theme, basically why we're here and what's the whole reason we're here and how most people are mistaken about this. Do not have that square in their head why they're here. And the other thing is I would like to remind people that it's, if a lot of people are afraid of dying. Some are not afraid of dying. They're being very brave. But I can tell you that is not a good plan. Not a good plan. And you have to do this while you are still breathing on this planet. If you're not basically in tune with Jesus Christ and what God has done, there's a good chance you're not going to be in the first resurrection. And if you're not in the first resurrection, you're most likely not going to be in God's kingdom. I mean, I don't know, I can't guarantee that, but the first resurrection are people who are going to be in Jesus Christ's book of life. Now, that may be quite a few, but I have no idea. The the reason I harp about this and is not because I'm so religious or anything, but it's straight blinking facts that if you don't do something about it before you die, you're going to be left out. You're going to be not good. And it's an offer. It's such an offer that it's unbelievable. You know, the idea that you're here for some other reason than just that reason alone is to become a son of God. That's the whole reason everything's been put together. From creating moon, stars, sun, universe, stars, planets, the earth, everything on the earth, the distance from the sun, exactly right. The heat is just right. Tilted so that it turns and creates seasons. Now, isn't that a smart deal? Tilting a globe in such a way that, I mean, how do you figure weather out? I mean, really. You know, weather on the planet is so complex. Just think of it. All around the weather, air is moving, clouds are moving, gathering moisture and moving and going from one place to another. Where the moisture gathers is not maybe where it rains, goes over that country and it rains in that country. And God has said that He controls the weather. And I believe that. First-hand knowledge of that. It may sound, dinky and goofy to people, but I can tell you this. We had a deal in probably 2023, where we had this huge pile of scrap lumber, bush, trees, whatever. We were building a 451 home subdivision adult community. And this was building up and building up and building up. And it was getting to be, middle of April, just about 10th of April, 11th of April. And we said, we got to do something. We've only got till the 15th to burn or the fire season is on. I think it was about the 11th, we tried, and we had been watching the wind for at least 2 weeks. And it would always be from the south, blowing in towards the homes. Because this pile was right on the edge, the south edge of this project. So ideally, we needed a north wind for 3 or 4 hours is all, to burn this pile down enough that we can look after it. 11th, they tried, we're going to light it. And no, they couldn't do it because the wind was still from the south and we just couldn't do it. And I came out and I said, wait till tomorrow. We'll try it again tomorrow on the 12th. And I didn't say anything to them, but I got in the car and I sat there for a while. And I looked at the pile and I said, Father God, in Jesus' name, I ask you, would you allow us 4 hours of a north wind so that we can burn this scrap pile? Thank you very much. That's it. The next morning I came out on the 12th of April at about 7:30, 7:45, and they had already started to light the fire on the north side of the pile. There was no wind. It was just dead calm. And I said, oh, man. And I just stood there for a while, and all of a sudden, the fire started burning a little, and the smoke went straight up. And then all of a sudden, it started to turn to smoke, started to head to the south. And I stood there for a while outside the car, and all of a sudden, I could feel a nice little soft north wind. And that went on till about 11:15. I told them about 11 o'clock. Around 11, I said, we better kill it. Put the fire hoses on it now. It's burnt down enough. Kill it. Because it'll just smolder and carry on forever. So we did. And about quarter after 11, 20 after 11, the wind turned back to the south. I said, thank you very much. Now, in that ecosystem, or whatever, of south wind, continual south wind in April, in there for a couple of weeks. Not a strong one, just a general wind. And I didn't really look up the weather records for that, but I should, to see if it still showed south wind. Because we had a north wind for 4 hours that day, right there. Now, how does that happen? I said this, I'm repeating myself, but I said that, I think that God likes to do smaller things that people ask, because it's out of their hands. They can't do it. God would have to do it, and that's what happened. You can look up the weather records for Vernon, BC, on April the 12th, 2024, 23. I mean. But anyway, I've got to get back to this business of, I notice where I'm living. I just observe it. I haven't said anything to anybody. I have told them I've been writing some books. Started when I was 90. Oh, what a deal. Anyway, the business, I'm in a dying factory. That's what it is. They come there to die. And if I stay there long enough, that's what's going to happen to me. Now, how many people are prepared to die and are righteous with God? Now, what does that mean? As far as I can understand, that means that you are right with God. Now, why is that important? Because if you are right with God and you understand why you're here and why Jesus Christ died and was crucified, and when you figure out and look into is crucifixion. It is so evil and so ugly and so torturous. How in the world he managed to survive enough to even be put on a cross. And he had to do that to pay for sins that you and I can't keep. To round it out a little bit, what happened is before there was anything, there was nothing. There might have been some planets around or something, I don't know, but God and the Word agreed, this is in his records, they agreed that he would be sacrificed for the sons that God was going to create, who he knew would not be able to keep his law. That's basically the law of the Ten Commandments, I guess. And being the penalty for breaking that law is death. Period. You break the Ten Commandments, you die. You're destroyed or thrown in the lake of fire or whatever. I don't know exactly what happens, but you're destroyed. Now, he couldn't destroy all his sons, because how would he end up with sons? He wanted a family. He wanted sons. And then he started, he had to create all the planets, the sun, moon, stars, whatever, the whole universe practically. There might have been some, I don't know, that claim to be many, many years old. And then to rebirth the earth. And that's the only one we know of that has oxygen and water and things grow there and people can live there and flourish there. And yet it's from ice to temperate to forest teal to like a hot zone, tropical zone, and then cooler and ice again. And it's tilted in such a way that, you have spring and summer and fall, and then you have the rest period of winter, and it starts all over again. Now, how soon do people, after they're born, get an idea of why am I here? Where did I come from? They may not say it in those words, but they'll think it. Something will happen around them or whatever, and then they'll say, well, why am I here? How did I get here? And I was 15 when that happened to me. I remember it just was an absolute moment in time when I just realized, why was I here? I was standing out in the yard. I thought, how did I get here? But anyway, that is the crux of everything. And when I watch what's going on in the world now, like I remember growing up when I was, 12, 14, 16, 18 years old maybe, that everybody was fairly religious. Some were actually quite religious. They think nothing of talking about God and whatever else, because they went to church every Sunday, and they went during the week. When I was young, there was, I remember it was a deal What was it called? Oh, you had to go. You went to church in the middle of the weekend. It was there was another group we had was called the Cheery Chums Club. Cheery Chums Club. And all kinds of young people belonged to that. They'd have parties and have, when I said parties, it would be very, skating parties, birthday party deals. And, there was some big sloughs around where I lived. And one in particular I remember, and I think it was in about, I don't know, January sometime, I believe, or maybe it was December, I don't know. But anyway, the ice had froze on this slough, and there was no snow on it. It was all frozen. And, just glossy frozen. So we were going to have a skating party on there. Well, we did. We had skates. And then, to top it, what we did is we had a skating party and a pulp party, both at the same time. Pulp was made in big pots and big fire, and these big pots, and then the pulp was made out of flour and little salt and what else? Yeah, well, I don't know. We just rolled it together and mixed it up, and I think we put a little milk in it, kind of, and some water, and vinegar. I remember a little vinegar. I think that was to make we put in sour milk. We made it with putting vinegar in milk. And we put them in balls and put them in the water and then started cooking it. And it would stay in the water, and when it started boiling and rolling, the potatoes just got, riced potatoes and flour. And sometimes they had like a chunk of ham in the center, a piece of bacon in it or something. And then we had tons of butter, melted butter, pretty well melted stuff. And they were, this big, that big, and they just floating around in this big tub. The tub was boiling. It was winter, and it was cold, and we had a fire going, keeping light. Everybody could see good. And we were skating on this pond and going, for, about a quarter of a mile anyway. Back and forth, and the ice was just perfect, just as smooth as a table. And then you're out in the fresh air like that, and then they had I think paper plates or something. I don't know where they got them, but pretty sure it was paper plates. And we sat down with that, eating pork turkey, just and I don't know. It's an acquired taste, but it's a very. I think you can make things taste good with potato any old way, so long as it's potato. Anyway, that's a memory from that part. And you got to remember, there was no TV and no phones or nothing. We barely had a phone. And that was in the 40s, early 40s. And, I thought things were fairly modern. We had a car. What the heck? And and that's how different times are. you know. And we'd walk during in the dark, walk home. We could see the light of our house 3/4 of a mile away. And walk home, went upstairs, and it was warm as toast in the house. Get upstairs in the bedroom, and I could lay in bed and look right out at the stars because it was a little opening around the chimney. I could see right through out. Yeah. And, you know, to realize now how big a change that is. Just a little bit every day. And big change. Goes from, you know, horse-driven farming, whatever, which had been going on for a long time, and switches over to mechanical. And the first tractors were big, lugging, clumsy things, you know. And it didn't take long before they improved, though. A big improvement was rubber tires. And John Deere came out with a tractor that just everybody wanted. That's for sure. They were two lungers, you know, thumpa 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 thump. You'd hear them out in the countryside all over. Especially the John Deere D. You could hear that one. That was a pretty big tractor, 2-cylinder, but big, 2 big cylinders. Running on diesel. And, you know, it's changed a lot. And it wasn't too long. I mean, I don't know how many years we went on with horses and bundle teams and thrashing machines, but that was for quite a while too. That was most likely for 25 years. And then they started with combines. Were pretty rudimentary combines to start with, but they were combines. And it didn't take long for them to develop from a horse pulled combine, had a motor on it and you pulled it, and to self-propelled combines, to fancier and fancier, like year by year by year, it just jumped up to beat heck. And these dealers had them lined up in their yard, sell for fall. And people go together and buy one for both farms or something like that. Not too many, but some did. Because it was quite an expense to do that. You had to, pig farming didn't change much. Still hasn't. No. Well, it has, but I mean, totally different now. Chicken farming. Look how chicken farming has changed. From where we had a hen house, we'd sometimes get roosters in the spring and some chicks or hens, maybe 50-50. We get 100, get 50 roosters, 50 hens. And, you know, the roosters were for Sunday dinner, usually. I remember Dad trying to do capons, leghorn capons. Leghorn capons are capons that had been castrated. And he had these chicks, leghorn chicks, and he had this little table made with strings going through 2 holes and a weight on the string on the bottom. And he would tie the string or slide the chick under there, put their legs through the back and put the string over them and hang the weight on it and held that. And then he'd put it over under their wings sort of in front so their wing was up out of the road. And he had to put a slit, I think it was in about the third rib of the chick, and then he had to put in spreaders, and spread the ribs apart because you could move them. The chick, was pretty flexible. Then you had to get in there with this long tweezer and pick out these two little kind of beans that were up right in his backbone, right under his backbone. And you had to get a hold of it and pull it out of there, rip it out, put it on the table, reach in again, hit the other one. Oh, now there's blood vessels running all over in there. I think it was the first 4 or 5 chicks, just he pulled a blood vessel apart, busted a blood vessel, and they just died. And oh man, throwing that chick, and then the next one. Finally, he got it so he could see good enough and grab it without, and then did about 20. And I don't think we sold them up or anything. We just put some water on the feathers, and the ribs came together like that. And I guess they just healed up. It was pretty tough on a little chick. But anyway, these capons grew up to be like I don't know, at least 1.5 feet high. Size on them about like that. They were like not the size of a turkey, but a good 1/2 or 3/4 size of a turkey. And when you cooked one of those up on Sunday, you had a big chicken dinner. Yeah, they got way bigger. And I don't know who found that out, but that's a fact. We didn't do that long, though. I don't know. The novelty kind of wore off or something. But we had chickens pretty well all the time that I was home. We had a chicken house because we sold eggs. We had a chicken house. And we sold eggs and cream and all that stuff all the time because that was a staple income. It was a small income, not big, but it was enough to buy coffee and I guess tobacco and I don't know what else, spices. And you could buy some meat too. You had to buy meat. Not all the time, but and we had to buy other things. Fish and oil and breakfast stuff. Sonny Boy cereal, oatmeal and jam. So a lot of the time we'd go into the store in Hay Lakes, the grocery store. You had a pretty good sized grocery store. It was a general store. It had everything. It had clothes in it, this, that. Not hardware, because there were 2 hardware stores in town. And anyway, in a lot of cases, it got to be that they had to charge up things till fall. And the store did, just charge it up. It's got to be a pretty big bill by the fall. So that's when they'd sell grain, or usually grain, to pay it off. And in the fall too, that's when they'd sell some, steers or cattle or whatever. Hogs were during the year, but hogs were 6 months or so. Yeah, this me trying to narrate something here is pretty hard. Pretty hard because I can't control my coughing. So in the printed book, it's not so bad. On YouTube video. Huh, not very good, is it? Anyway, that's what I'm going to leave with today. And I think I've got to do another 2 or 3 of these to get enough time to... the audio book I did for Audible is 5 hours long. That's too much. I want to maybe get a book that's 2 hours long, 2.5. I don't think people want it any more than that. But anyway, we're here in the new year. You know, it's already the 4th. Tomorrow's the 5th. And in our case, we haven't had winter yet. Not really. We've had there's snow up in the mountains, ski hills and whatever. All kinds of snow right now. But not down here. Because we're too warm. We've rained and had rain showers and rain, snow and rain and slush and whatever. That just melts and goes away. And, you know, can you imagine how much shorter a winter we're going to have? You know, this warm weather is still going to be here. You look at the forecast, and for the next week or 10 days, same thing. But it's going to come. I mean, it's definitely, we've never had a winter yet. Well, we didn't have a cold snap, a real cold snap last year it was only 2 or 3 days. Minus 25 degrees below zero for about 3 days. Then bang, that was over. That's not a bad winter. No, you know, the thing is, I think we really need to take stock of ourselves. You know, there's not much sense living all this time and people having families and growing up, building houses, doing stuff, to have it all mean absolutely nothing. Nothing. When an offer that God gives to the people of this planet, the second highest existence in the universe next to him, to be a son of God. And you notice I say sons, because that's what he says. He said there's no marriage or anything in heaven. The days of the womb and whatever are over. And women say, well, will I not be able to go to heaven? I'm definitely sure you are, but you're not going to be a woman. And I'm going to be different too. So we're going to be resurrected as a different, young-looking male of some kind. But I think he keeps some characteristics or something, because it seemed to me that people may, I don't know, recognize or know other people when they end up there. I don't know. That's stuff that's hard to nail down. But a woman will be a man just the same as a man will be a man. There won't be any difference. There'll be a son. Nothing wrong with that. Because you can't have battling sexes in a universe forever. Who would want that? I'm sure that God would not want that. No, and you know, when you think about it, they would exist forever in a perfect body, no pain ever, and no sickness, no pain, no anything. And they would be self-sufficient bodies. You know, that's miracle. That's miracle business. And I can't really, well, it's no use to even try. God says it has never entered the mind of man what God has planned for him. So it's beyond our imagination. So if people are honest and have any respect or anything for God and Jesus Christ, they would just say, thank you very much. You know, I came with nothing, I'm leaving with nothing, and I'm being given a great promise from somebody who keeps promises. Anyway, let's leave it there, because that's, that's what we should be aiming for. So, as usual, till I see you again, God bless you, and hope everything is well. Thank you.